Tuesday morning. Is it snowing outside? It is in Indianapolis, in Detroit, in Chicago. It's still snowing this morning, and we're going to take you around the country and show you what's happening. In fact, the snow that's continuing to fall as you make your way out in the Midwest, one story. The other is the potential some freezing rain or freezing drizzle here in the North Georgia mountains, even into the Carolina Smoky Mountains as well. What we're finding on radar, a lot of this is not reaching the ground here. It's actually pretty dry in the atmosphere. You know how dry your skin has felt, and when you walk across the carpet, you've been shocking people left and right. Well, because of that dry air, a lot of this is evaporating before it reaches the ground. But we do have the potential for some light rain here into western parts of Alabama, northwestern Alabama especially. And some of this rain is reaching the ground across West Tennessee, here moving through the Memphis area and southward along Interstate 55 as you head towards the Jackson area in Mississippi. It's a cold rain that's falling, and we've been watching those temperatures pretty closely to see about the potential of any precipitation freezing on contact with the surface if and when it does fall here in the south and east. So again, it's going to be light when it comes in. And in terms of temperatures, they have been staying above freezing here in a lot of the area throughout the southeast as we've been heading through the overnight hours. Right now, it's 34 degrees in Atlanta. It is in the 20s here. Plenty of cold air in place up into eastern Tennessee around the Knoxville area. But again, remember, it's so dry. It's so dry out here so that when the rain does move in, it is going to evaporate at first, and that cools down the temperature. So we could very well see temperatures drop down to close to the freezing mark here across maybe not downtown Atlanta, but north of town up into some of the suburbs, Cartersville, north of there here up Interstate 75. Beware of any freezing precipitation that would fall and especially affect the bridges and the overpasses. So if you are heading out today, we are looking at a freezing rain advisory that remains in effect here for the early morning hour here north of Atlanta, here north of I-20 and to northern Georgia, and also into parts of western North Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, up towards the Charlotte area and Winston-Salem there as well. We have some winter weather advisories here as the precipitation moves in and potentially could freeze on contact with some surfaces. It's not a big snowmaker, but it could be freezing drizzle or freezing rain, which I think is much worse here, especially for travelers. Now, as we take you into some other parts of the country where we have snow falling here, it's covering the ground and the streets and the sidewalks here around Detroit this morning, around Toledo and Perrysburg and over towards Fort Wayne and up towards South Bend. We are getting some snow continuing to fall. This is the kind of snowstorm that's going to bring a couple of inches in most cases. There's going to be some isolated spots where you get anywhere from 3 to 6 to even up to 9 inches of snow, but Detroit for the most part, it's a 2 to 4, 3 to 5 inch kind of snowstorm for you. Same thing around Fort Wayne. In Indianapolis, you can see it's about to end as we see the snow move through this morning. So the morning commute, a tough one, but by afternoon, we're going to see some improvement here, at least without the snow falling across the region. Now, Chicago, temperatures are in the teens right now, and we do have snow continuing to come down. The snow fighting fleet has been out all night long battling the streets. You know, the parking ban, of course, is in effect. And around the Chicago area, one thing key here is that temperatures are so cold and they're not going to warm up. Right now, we're looking at a temperature here in the teens and dropping into the lower teens as we head through today. This is it. This is as warm as it gets. And when temperatures are this cold, it's hard for salt and to work on the roadways. And so certainly this is going to be a problem for travel here throughout the day, not just when it's falling this morning, but you're still going to be dealing with some of those back streets and subdivision streets here that are going to be icy and snowpacked throughout the day in the Chicago area. A couple of inches that we got out of this one. As we head south into Texas, the story here is the fog this morning. We are socked in with fog. Look at this, 0 mile visibility in Dallas at the airport. Austin, Texas, 0 mile visibility. This is the kind of condition that is very difficult to drive in. You know, a lot of times we get delays at the airports when we get a little bit of fog, but it's still okay for driving. Well, with this weather that we're experiencing this morning in Texas, you will find problems on the road. Tough to see the car in front of you. You can barely see the taillights. So some rules of thumb when you're driving in fog like this: honk the horn a few times just to let people know that you're out there. If you decide that it's too tough for you to drive and you pull off the road, you should take your foot off the brake, put on the emergency brake, and actually turn off all your lights and everything. Because a lot of times when you're in the fog, you tend to follow the person right in front of you. So if you're pulled off and stopped and you have your lights on, well, someone could very well drive right into you. And of course, you want to reduce your speed. That's a given here with conditions like this. There is, of course, a dense fog advisory in effect for much of the state of Texas. As we head westbound, we are finding rain in San Francisco and Sacramento. Happened yesterday. It's going to happen again today and again tomorrow here. Upper level low that continues to move over this region, and it's going to stay put here. So not a lot of movement with it. Actually brought some snow to some of the hills around Sacramento. Maybe if you were heading up around Sausalito, you saw a little dusting of snow up there. Some San Francisco over towards Sacramento, you're going to find the showers today. We'll take a closer view at what's happening right now. It's going to be off and on throughout the day here, and you can see that right now this morning around San Fran, where around San Jose and down towards Santa Cruz we're getting some light showers, but in town we're getting a brief break here and up towards Petaluma and over towards up towards Rosa area. We'll continue watching what's happening here as you hit the streets and head off to work on this Tuesday morning. Right now we want to get a closer look at what's happening on your local on the 8s.